August 1976. The Cold War is at its boiling point. The Korean Demilitarized Zone, a thin line dividing two hostile nations, is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. But that summer, the world came terrifyingly close to another world war. Over a tree. Yes, a tree. This is the story of Operation Paul Bunyan, when America brought tanks, jets, and warships to cut down a poplar tree. In the joint security area of the Korean DMZ, UN and North Korean troops stand face to face, separated by a single line of concrete. Tension is constant. One wrong move could mean war. In the middle of this zone stood a single tall poplar tree. It blocked the view between UN command checkpoints, a small annoyance, but in the DMZ, visibility meant survival. So, on August 18, 1976, a team of American and South Korean soldiers was sent to trim its branches. Simple job, right? But nothing in the DMZ is simple. As the soldiers began cutting branches, a group of North Korean guards approached, led by Captain Pak Chul, known for his aggression. He shouted that the tree was planted by Kim Il-sung himself and ordered them to stop. The Americans ignored him and kept trimming. Then, chaos. The North Koreans attacked. Armed only with axes and tools, the UN soldiers fought back, but they were outnumbered. Within minutes, 2 U.S. officers, Captain Arthur Boniface and Lieutenant Mark Barrett, were beaten to death. The attackers fled, leaving their bodies behind. The DMZ fell silent again, but the world trembled. Washington was furious, and what came next was not just retaliation. It was a show of force. 3 days later, the U.S. launched Operation Paul Bunyan, a mission named after the legendary giant lumberjack. The goal? Finish cutting down the tree. But this time, they brought everything. Engineers with chainsaws, soldiers armed to the teeth, helicopters hovering overhead, B-52 bombers circling in the sky, warships on standby, and the entire 2nd Infantry Division ready for battle. Even aircraft carriers waited offshore. All of this for one tree. But make no mistake, this was no joke. The world was watching. At 7 a.m. on August 21st, the operation began. Dozens of soldiers and engineers entered the DMZ with chainsaws, flanked by armored vehicles and special forces carrying M16 and grenades. North Korean guards watched in silence. Their own reinforcements massed on the other side of the line, weapons at the ready. A single spark could ignite the war. For 45 tense minutes, the world held its breath. Then, the chainsaws roared, branches fell. The poplar tree, the spark of death and fury, came crashing down. The mission was complete. No shots fired, no one killed, but make no mistake, it was one of the most heavily militarized tree trimmings in history. Operation Paul Bunyan wasn't about the tree. It was about dominance. The U.S. wanted to prove that it could act decisively without starting a war. Within hours, North Korea issued a rare statement, expressing regret for the killings. It was one of the few times in history the regime had ever backed down. And the poplar tree? It was replaced with a small memorial plaque, a quiet reminder of how close humanity came to annihilation over a few branches. Today, the site of the axe murder incident still stands in Panmunjom, one of the most tense places on Earth. The border remains guarded, the scars of the Cold War still visible. Operation Paul Bunyan is remembered not for bloodshed, but for restraint. A reminder that sometimes the most powerful message is the one sent without a single bullet fired. It's proof that even at the edge of war, cooler heads can prevail, and that sometimes cutting down a tree can prevent the world from burning. The story of Operation Paul Bunyan shows us how fragile peace can be, and how even a tree can test the balance of global power. But this wasn't the only absurd standoff of the Cold War. In our next episode, we'll travel to Cuba, where a game of nuclear poker nearly ended the world. Subscribe and join us for The Cuban Missile Crisis, the 13 days that shook the world. Thank you for watching, and see ya.